Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the tax-exempt status of religious institutions to end. They're no longer a benefit to society because they no longer serve the people in their midst. Christianity, as we knew it, along with many of the other institutions, is dead. It has ceased in being a place of transformation and change, and has for some time. I'm not saying this as a complete outsider, or even the spook who sat by the door. Instead, I am a child of the grand old Church of God in Christ, born and raised. Although it was a place of refuge because of its message, opportunity for expression, and a musical environment, once I began to realize the classism, the predatory nature of some of its members, the mental cruelty for those perceived as different, I left when I graduated and moved towards college and the military. And that was just a fallout, predating my existence, when the philosophy transformed from the mindset of Dr. King to that of Reverend Ike. However, despite its flaws, I still saw a lot of transformation. This is the little country church that I grew up in, Christ Temple Church of God in Christ in Uniondale, New York. It looks a lot different from when I grew up, but growing up during the crack era, I saw a lot of change. People who were addicted would walk in off the street, pay attention to the teachings, join a church, and become great people. Clean themselves up, cleaned up their lives. A lot of times I would see a lot of young people who would walk in, they were given no path by their parents, they had no direction in life, and they would come in and straighten up and walk the straight and narrow. Everything has changed. In my travels, I started noticing a lot of decadents flooding in because they were drawn to the music. Sadly, when Obama took office and started bullying the black church to be silent and accept homosexuality, things changed for the worse, especially when they put sexual advice in the youth manual to include that of gay sex. Since that time, it's imploded. There is no expectation of change. It's become a Christian nightclub where everything goes, you do as you feel, wear what you want, pass around disease, have children out of wedlock, and divorce at will, if you even marry. And you'd better watch your kids. Instead of buying property or building complexes to provide safe, affordable housing for the community, feeding the hungry, helping the youth, or assisting congregants with bills or mortgages, as they once did, what we see now are first men dressed in Prada, drug trafficking bishops, pulpits that look like stages, and pedophiles on the praise teams that they've replaced the choirs with. And all of this is because our government allows bums to exploit the transformation for which the church was previously known and go from a ne'er-do-well to a successful scamming preacher or apostle. Take your pick. And they do this by setting up these churches through 501c3 status, which allows them to set up buildings as legitimate organizations that are tax exempt. These individuals siphon money away from congregants and give them nothing other than a good show. And the new immigrants that are coming in imitating the practice may not even give that. Instead, they're putting on soundtracks and blasting them through a stereo in a storefront. To add to the decadence of our own churches, many of the new immigrant churches are also harboring illegals in their midst. It is time to end tax exemption status for all religious institutions because they are not doing anything for the communities for which they're supposed to be serving other than adding to the decadence in those communities. Perhaps when we end it, It will separate the wheat from the chaff, and the bad ones will walk away.